Hello, my name is Julia Jacob, and I'm the Assistant Director for Academic Advising for the College of Liberal Arts here at Texas A&M University. We are so excited that you're joining us this summer for your new admission to Texas A&M, and proud of you and want to congratulate you on being admitted. I know that that is no small feat, and you have worked very hard to be admitted here to Texas A&M. So thank you, welcome. I'm sorry that I won't be able to see you in person. Instead of the 2-day new student conference that has been very popular with a lot of universities and has been the standard here for some time, we do have a few condensed 1-day new student conferences for some of our transfer students, and that would be you. So to maximize the day, to allow you to have the most opportunity or the best opportunities to be with your academic advisors in your department. So for whatever your major is, we have stepped back from doing an in-person dean's meetings. And so we have stepped back, and you're going to hear from all of us, by the way, in this video, but we have stepped back from doing an in-person new student conference. I'm using this opportunity to provide you with this video that hopefully you can view before you're here for your NSC, but will give you a good idea of who we are, what we have to offer you, and what some of the rules and requirements are that you're going to be responsible for, right? Information we want you to have. So let's see. All right, so that's me. I put this slide up because, believe me, I don't want to look at my picture, but I want you to be able to have that visual recognition of an advisor, of somebody who is here for you, right? So this is me, Julia Jacob. I'm the Assistant Director for Academic Advising for students in the College of Liberal Arts. So we in the Dean's Office don't advise students on a day in, day out basis for a particular major. Okay, if you're a student pursuing the Bachelor of Arts in English, you have an advisor, Sarah Borden, she's wonderful. If you're a student pursuing communication or telecommunication media studies or university studies journalism, you have 5 amazing advisors in that department. Okay, so all of our students have advisors that are dedicated to their major in particular. But please know that you also have us. There's a team of 4 of us in the Dean's Office as resources for you if there are just things. The best way I know how to put it is when students don't know who to come to. We work with students who are going through some stuff, students on academic probation, students who aren't happy with their major and just need to kind of figure out what the next steps are. So just know that you have us as resources as well. Okay, so what with the speakers that we have for you today through this video, we just took care of the introduction. So yay, we took care of one agenda item. We're going to have speakers talk to you about our priorities in the College of Liberal Arts, right? So talking about the benefits of a liberal arts education, high impact practices like study abroad, or our honors program, pursuing our honors program here in the college, among others. We want to let you know about our great career center, and just the people and resources that are here for you. So we'll have some guests speak to you about the priorities. I am then going to come back and go over our admission contract, which is an 8-point contract in a Google form that you're going to need to review and submit. That's going to be something I need to collect from all students if they want to be able to register at 3 o'clock on their new student conference day. I will then close it out with some tips for success, things that we have found are beneficial for students to think about or to do during their first semester and first year here, and then we'll conclude. So I want to welcome you again. I'm really bummed that we don't get to meet in person, but I think this is going to be a great conference experience for you. And we're glad that you're going to have ample time with your advisor or your advisors in your department. So again, welcome, and I will see you again in just a few minutes.
Howdy, and welcome to the College of Liberal Arts. My name is Dr. Dorsey. I'm the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Student Education and Success. Let me take just a couple of minutes to talk to you about the College of Liberal Arts. The skills a liberal arts degree gives you are the very skills that employers today value highly. They're the kind of skills that never grow obsolete. Although the world is constantly changing, the attributes, skills, and abilities gained in liberal arts are always relevant. They're always relevant because our purpose is to provide you with broad knowledge of the wider world through language, foreign cultures and society, and information about human interactions. But it's also about equipping you with all the knowledge and skill sets needed for your major area of study. The skills you will acquire include critical thinking, an awareness and respect of cultural differences nationally and internationally, the ability to communicate effectively through oral and written means, problem solving, the ability to be a productive citizen of this country, and also the ability to be a global citizen, and the ability to think independently while still working productively in groups. As you will learn from the officers of the undergraduate programs office and from your departmental officers, there will be many opportunities to acquire these skills. Now, for your information, we are the second largest college at Texas A&M University. We have one of the highest four-year graduation rates. 2 out of every 3 students receive their degrees in 4 years or less. Now, for you, that means 2 years. We consistently graduate more students than any other college. We're successful in retaining about 93% of our students in terms of freshmen. Now, although you're a transfer student, this fact means that we have the support system in place to help you to become a successful student. Liberal arts students enjoy small class sizes. The average size of a course is around 20 students, thanks to a large faculty. And your teacher is typically a tenured professor. Graduate students teach basic core curriculum classes where needed. But you will discover that each of your upper level courses and nearly all the classes in your major are taught by outstanding teachers and scholars in their respective fields. Each of you are also fortunate because the college has invested many resources in providing the best support systems possible so that you can succeed here at Texas A&M as a student, and then afterward when you graduate and begin your career. You will find that we have the best departmental advisors and the best college advising staff, as well as highly trained and dedicated staff who will do their utmost to help you enhance your educational experience over the next couple of years and help you prepare for your career. Again, welcome to Texas A&M University, and welcome to the College of Liberal Arts.
Howdy. Welcome to Texas A&M and to our college. We're so excited to have you with us. I'm Dr. Barry Brookins, and I'm the Program Manager for Academic Success for the college. My job is to help you be successful as a student here at Texas A&M. To do that, there are several things I do as part of my job. I oversee and coordinate success programming for incoming students, both freshmen and transfer. I also work with various departments to help provide academic success programming and to help address any success issues that may arise. I also liaison with the Academic Success Center. The Academic Success Center is one of our primary and premier academic success resources here on campus. It's available to you at no cost, and I would encourage you to become familiar with all they have to offer. As an incoming student, you're going to be enrolled in some sort of success class this semester. The majority of you will be enrolled in a course your department has developed, although a few of you will be enrolled in a multi-departmental LBAR 181 course with me. If you're not sure which course you'll be enrolled in, please ask your academic advisor. We're so excited that you're here with us at Texas A&M and our college. If there's anything I can do to help make your academic success journey more successful, please contact me. Thanks, and gig 'em.
Howdy, welcome to your new student conference. My name is Christy Dunn and I'm International Programs Manager for the College of Liberal Arts. I'm here today to talk to you about a couple different things. The first being study abroad and the other being scholarships. So we feel very strongly in the College of Liberal Arts that all undergraduates have the opportunity for an international experience. There are several things I want to convey to you in this short amount of time I have. The first being that studying abroad is not going to delay your graduation. So there's a lot of misperceptions about study abroad. That is one of the big ones. And I know that's probably pretty important to you as a transfer student because you're bringing in a lot of hours already and you can probably see the end in sight here in another couple of years. And you're thinking, well, I don't want to spend any more time here than I need to. So the university has actually tracked time to degree. That's the number of semesters it takes a student to graduate and compared that between those who studied abroad and those who stayed on campus. And university-wide, there's less than a 1% difference between these two groups in time to degree. And now when you look at that, just within the College of Liberal Arts and the majors that we have, our majors who study abroad actually graduate slightly sooner than those who stayed on campus. So the good news is it won't delay your graduation. Studying abroad does not mean you need to make up that time staying here longer on campus. The reasons for that are many. Primarily, it's because you've got a lot of flexibility in your degree plans, and it's that much easier for you to build an experience into your studies. So I would encourage you to talk with your academic advisor if this is something that interests you. Also, another huge misperception about studying abroad is regarding cost. That is just cost prohibitive. But I want to assure you that it is definitely possible to find an international experience that both works to meet your goals and also works with your budget. So studying abroad can be affordable. The important thing for you to take away from this is your financial aid can be used for study abroad, even though you'll be off campus. Because you're considered a continuing student and making progress to your degree, your financial aid is portable in that case. So that is a huge asset and something to remember. And we also believe so strongly that you have an international experience that the College of Liberal Arts sets aside funds to award scholarships to our students to support their international experiences. And I'll be speaking about scholarships here in just a moment. We have a fantastic education abroad office at this institution. They're very well equipped and at the forefront of the field. They know what they're doing and they can connect you, as can I, with an experience that will really help you attain your own goals. So I encourage you to talk with your academic advisor. And also, if you're interested, you can make appointments to meet with me through Navigate, and I'm happy to talk with you. Even if you come to me saying, I know I want to do this, but I'm not sure where to start, I can help you with that. So I want you to think now, just imagine you are about to graduate. You're getting ready to cross that stage and get your diploma, and you're starting to interview for jobs. And you are able to articulate to an employer all the skills and abilities that an international experience for you developed. And that could be communication skills. It could be your critical thinking. It could be your ability to solve problems, to deal with ambiguous situations and become more adaptable and flexible. These are all skills that our employers want to see, and you can develop them in new and more compelling ways through an international experience. Also, traditionally, only about 10% of undergraduates in the United States will have studied abroad by the time they graduate, which means that you have an opportunity to make yourself stand out. when you go to interview. If you have had an international experience and you can say all these wonderful skills that you developed and how it really impacted you, you will be able to stand out from the crowd. If you can say, I developed intercultural competence. I worked on some foreign language skills. I did this. So as you can see, it can really positively impact your job search. So keep those things in mind. Talk with your academic advisor about when it would make the most sense for you to go study abroad and the courses that might make the most sense for you to take while you're abroad. And also come meet with me. You can also plan to attend Aggie Quest during Howdy Week in the fall. That is an event put on by Education Abroad, which is a week-long event of Education Abroad resources. And then there's also the World Fair in September, on September 21st, that you can attend. And that's a resource fair. And I will have a table there for the college if you come find me there. The second item that I want to talk about is scholarships. And this is with regard to Education Abroad, but also just in general academic scholarships. So we are very fortunate in the College of Liberal Arts to have many generous donors. And as a result, we're able to award $500,000 a year in academic scholarships for students and study abroad scholarships. So at A&M, and this is the important thing I want you to know, at A&M, we use a common scholarship application. So when you apply to A&M through Apply Texas or the Coalition application, you completed a common scholarship application in there that will have considered you for scholarships for this first year at A&M. If you want to be considered for scholarships in your second year at A&M, so in this case, that would be 23-24, you will need to complete the continuing student application. That will be open from October to about February 1st of this academic year for you from 22 to 23 for you to complete. You just have to fill it out one time, and then you're considered for any scholarships for which you're eligible, and that would be college level, major or university level scholarships for which you're eligible. You're put in those pools, and those scholarships are then awarded for the following academic year, in this case 23-24. That website is uwide, that's uwide.tamu.edu. You will receive emails if you check your emails, which is very important here. You will receive reminders from Scholarships and Financial Aid that it has opened for the continuing student application. I mention this because that timeline, as you can see, is pretty far in advance. You're only in your first year here. You're not going to be quite thinking about scholarships for 23-24, but you do need to be thinking that far ahead in that regard. So remember that application, remember the timeline. You don't need to complete that application in one sitting. You can complete it in stages. Just be sure you save it and be sure that you submit. You click the submit button before the deadline, which is typically February 1st of every year. So in this case, that would be February 1st of 2023 for the following academic year. If you have any questions about that, you can reach me. My name's Christy Dunn, and my email is cadunn@tamu.edu. And I will be happy to talk with you about any of your study abroad or scholarship related questions. So with that, I will wish you the very best for your fall semester. And if you need me, please come find me. Bye.
Well, welcome back, everyone. So I want to thank you for making it to this part, which is about the halfway part of our video. We're now going to switch gears after some of the interesting things you heard about our college, the opportunities for you. and the people who are here to support you. But I do want to be able to transition into reviewing the admission contract. So we're going to go over each one of those 8 points. Just remember that you will need to submit the signed Google form admission contract, and you will be getting an email with that information in it. So I will need a signed Google form admission contract covering the 8 points that I'm about to address. I will need one from everybody if they want to be able to register at 3 o'clock today, at 3 o'clock when course registration opens for you, which I know is a big deal at new student conferences. So let's get started with the admission contract. We'll talk about then some tips for success, and then we'll wrap things up so you can get going on with everything else that's exciting that you have on your agenda. So this is me again. There's my contact information. I'm going to have this up on a few slides just in case you need to reference that back at any point. But the admission contract is 8 points. They are rules and guidelines that all of our students in the College of Liberal Arts are beholden to. So we want you to be aware of them. And you'll have access to, or you would have been introduced to, resources and websites, and that, hopefully some things like the undergraduate degree planner won't come as a surprise when those things are due for you, because we would have addressed it in this meeting. All right, so number 1 on the admission contract, I am responsible for familiarizing myself with the policies and regulations as described in Texas A&M University student rules, and then there's that website, and the Texas A&M University undergraduate catalog, and then it has that website and screenshots of both pages. These are 2 websites that are official university documents. I want you to bookmark both of them to your browser. It's possible you may not need to reference them, but sometimes there are questions that arise, and I see this a lot with student rules, that there are questions that arise, and it's good to check here first before reaching out to anyone. An example of where you might see student rules come into play would be related to absences, your course attendance and absences. The university defines what is considered an excused absence. Professors will reference Student Rule 7 in their syllabus. But if you miss class for any reason, right, if you think it's an excused absence, you need to refer to Student Rule 7 to see if that absence does fall under an excused absence. And if it is, there's a specific window of time you have after the absence to communicate with your professor about why you were not attending or why you missed that exam. And then even after that, there's a window of time for which you have during which you have to make up any missed coursework. Okay, so this is not just a matter of, well, I thought I was excused and it's okay. I don't want anybody, none of us here want anybody's grades to suffer in a class because they thought they were going to be okay with an absence. Always check with student rules to see what the official guidelines are. So Student Rule 7 is important, but you will see me reference other student rules on some of the subsequent slides. Even in the dean's office, I know a lot of these rules by heart, but some of them I don't. So again, I have a bookmark, just like I'm sure you will. Another one that comes up a lot is related to the dean's list or distinguished student status. Just know, you worked hard to get to A&M. I want you to be able to maintain that academic excellence. But if you complete at least 15 credit hours during your time here at A&M in a given semester with at least a 3.75 GPA on graded credit hours, you would be eligible for the dean's list, and that is consistent across the university. Okay, so when we tell students that they've made the dean's list, it is because they meet the criteria as established in here. Those are just 2 of 22 academic student rules. There's also conduct related rules as well, but these are the ones that are important to us. So make sure you're familiar with that page. The other one is the undergraduate catalog. Every year, the university publishes, I say publish, it used to actually be in print, now it's online, a catalog. And the catalog will be updated and current with all of the programs that we offer, the majors that we have, the concentrations, the minors we have, the certificates we have. There's a list of the faculty. There's a list of all the core courses, what constitutes the core curriculum. And it changes. Things change over time. We used to not have a Bachelor of Science in Communication. Bachelor of Science in History is new for us as well. So there's going to be programmatic changes, certain courses that are required, certain degrees that are offered, and what the university requires changes over time. So every student who's been through Texas A&M has a catalog that they're assigned to. For y'all, it's going to be catalog for the 22-23 academic year, and that will be your catalog as you proceed through your time here. So make sure you're familiar with that page as well. Again, references to both catalog and student rules will come up as I proceed through this. Number 2 is a big one. I used to have it memorized, but I don't think I do. So I may need to reference the slide, but number 2 states that I am responsible for making progress on my degree. Every semester, I will register for courses that follow the specified program of study for a baccalaureate degree. Failing to do so may lead me to be administratively removed from courses not on my degree plan and or being blocked from registration by the dean of the college. I will enroll in basic coursework as outlined in the general degree requirements, sections 1 and 2 in the undergraduate degree catalog for 2022-23. This excludes courses that will serve as electives or that will meet the requirements of a minor, reference to Student Rule 1.5.1. This is something, monitoring a student's progress in their curriculum is something that we take seriously, especially as a state-funded institution. We have a responsibility to the taxpayers of the state of Texas to make sure that, that we are graduating students in a timely manner and using the resources to support students with classes and other things, that we're using them prudently, and for students to pursue, to actively pursue and work on the degree they were admitted to is part of that responsibility. So as long as you're in a particular major, okay, you are taking classes relevant to that degree. Now, sometimes students might feel that a major is not right for them. You can investigate changing your major while you're here at A&M. Perhaps there's something that you will be eligible to change into. But as long as you're enrolled in the program you're in, you are expected to make progress in that degree. Please know that students admitted as transfer students, which is you, have to complete at least one full semester before they can change majors. Okay, you were admitted to a particular program, and that is what you'll be expected to enroll in, at least for this first semester. Most students stick it out, for their entire degree, but if changing is something you're interested in, please know that at least through this first semester, you're obligated to work with the curriculum that you've been assigned to. So students who follow their curriculum and are taking at least one major course each semester, or whatever it is your advisor keeps you abreast of in terms of the departmental policy, generally, students who do that don't have an issue. But refusal to take classes relevant to your degree will pose an issue. So just be mindful that that's covered by student rules and is relevant to all students at Texas A&M. So number 3 and number 4, I roll in together. When you look at the Google form, you'll see number 3 says, I will meet with my advisor every semester. And we roll that in with number 4 because number 4, there's so much importance. There's so much dependence on a successful degree plan submission. for the planning you do every term as you're working towards the completion of this degree. So much of your success with that in particular has to do with it, meeting with your advisor regularly, at least once a semester, making an appointment or going to drop in hours, which a lot of our departments have, whether it's virtual or in person, but meeting with them to make sure you're making the appropriate progress on your degree. Texas A&M does require that once a year, students complete and submit and ultimately have approved the undergraduate degree planner. It is an interactive platform that lives inside Howdy. So students who are coming in with at least 30 college credit hours, which is going to be a number of our transfer students, they have to complete a degree planner within their first semester here, and then every year until they graduate once a year. So the degree planner, again, this is required for all students at Texas A&M. You see, we're referencing student rule 1.9 here. Every student at Texas A&M has to do this and has for the last 9 years. It will take the degree that you've been admitted to. So let's say a BS in economics. It will populate all the required areas of your degree with what you've already taken, right? The credit that you're transferring in. It will populate it with the classes you register for at your new student conference, and then we'll show you all the places in the degree that still have to be planned for. So students go semester by semester and indicate what it is they would like to take, knowing that over the 6 semesters that they're here, let's say, that they will meet all their requirements. So it allows students to plan prudently, especially for classes that are sequential. It gives them an idea if, 12 hours a semester is realistic to still get them to graduate in time. Do they need to increase things in the summer, right, to maintain the pace that they'd like? But it helps advisors know too that you know what you need to graduate, that nothing is going to be a surprise. Your writing intensive requirements or the upper level residency requirement that I'll talk about in a minute, that none of that is a surprise and that you would have the opportunity to mentally prepare for that prior to your registration each term. So know that that's a requirement for you. If you're bringing in at least 30 credit hours, you will have to take care of this your first semester and then every year after that. Okay. Number 5, I will be placed on academic probation or dismissed from the College of Liberal Arts if I do not meet established academic standards, reference to Student Rule 12.1 and 2. This is one that we work with very closely in the Dean's office. We work with students whose GPAs have fallen below a 2.0. Students whose cumulative GPAs are below a 2.0, those are students that we need, more one-on-one advising and intervention with, but we do also monitor and work with students who have a semester GPA below a 2.0, even if their overall A&M GPA is in good standing. Okay, good standing at this university is a 2.0. Anything below a 2.0 is considered academically deficient at this university. So we see academic probation as an opportunity for retention, for retaining our students. And that's, we don't want to let students who are struggling just go, just let them go without any kind of support or guidance, right? So if there is a semester where a student is academically deficient, then let's stop, right? Let's pause and figure out what some of the challenges may have been and what adjustments we can make. So probation is all about figuring those things out so that students can bounce back and be successful. And like I told a student, just this week, I said, I'm meeting you now because of academic probation, but there's a good chance you will get off probation and never have to see me again. Even though she knew she was more than welcome to see me again. But know that this is something we do to make sure that students are getting access to the resources that they need, okay? So it sounds scary. It's the only thing people ever seem to remember about our office is that students are placed on probation or that they are dismissed. Dismissal would happen if a student was on probation and failed to make the appropriate grades the next term those students are dismissed. But every college at Texas A&M has their own probation and dismissal policy. Everybody's is a little bit different, but you can see that we're all governed by Student Rule 12.1. So be mindful of that. Also, I know the kind of GPAs that our transfer students bring in when they're admitted. Please know that your GPA from your previous institution does not count here. You're starting at 0. Okay, so the grades that you've got were important in facilitating your admission. We're utilizing the credit that you took, but we are not using the GPA. So everybody starts at 0. Okay. All right, number 6, I am responsible for successfully completing a minimum of 36 hours of 300 and or 400 level coursework in residence at Texas A&M in order to obtain my degree. A minimum of 12 of these 36 hours must be in my major, reference to Student Rule 14.22. This one is one that will be picked up in other places. You will see this on your degree planner. It will come up when you meet with your advisors, right, and run a degree evaluation. Every student who graduates from Texas A&M has to have at least 36 hours of junior and senior level coursework. Those are courses coded as 300 to 499 that are taken here at Texas A&M. Students have to have at least 36 hours in that range to count towards residency and allow a student to be eligible for graduation. Failure to do this means there's no remedy except students stay here at Texas A&M and take credits until they complete this. One of the reasons we don't admit transfer students with a lot of hours, because they need time to be here to take these upper level courses to apply to their degree and graduate. So students who are coming in with less than 60 hours, this tends not to be a big issue. You need to be mindful of it. I don't want it to surprise you. I don't want you to have an 18-hour semester your very last term because you had fallen short on this. So the degree planner will help you for it, but just be mindful that this is a graduation requirement and one that all students are beholden to. Number 7 and number 8 both reference how we communicate with you and how you need to communicate with us. So number 7 is about your email, that you're responsible for sending all emails to staff, faculty, and leadership from your TAMU email account. Correspondences sent via non-TAMU accounts will not be acknowledged. I am also responsible for checking my university authorized email account daily for any university related correspondence. I understand that not all messages sent to my account will forward, thus necessitating that I check it daily, reference to Student Rule 1.2. This one is absolutely critical because I will tell you that even when very serious notifications go out, as in academic dismissal, let's say, if somebody's being dismissed from A&M because of their grades, those notifications will go out via email, okay? We're not sending letters. We're not making phone calls for the most part. This is email, okay? And so you are responsible for managing your TAMU email account and checking it daily and sending your correspondences to us via that account. Know that we will not respond, or we shouldn't respond if it comes from a non-TAMU account. I've had students open their emails in front of me before and they're overwhelming. I've seen a student with 24,000 unread emails. You're going to get a lot if you aren't already. Please work on finding a way to manage it, okay? Flag your advisors, the Career Center, our program manager for academic success, Dr. Brookins. Flag your people, right? So that you don't lose those emails. It's going to be really important to be on top of it, okay? Don't forward this account to another one because there are emails that will go to spam or that you will not see. Be responsible for this account and check this account daily. Number 8 talks about making sure that your address and phone number are properly updated and I assure you, there are not a lot of times I have to pick up a phone to call a student, right? Unless I'm returning a phone call, because email is the primary platform. But there are times when we are really worried about a student, that they've gone missing in action. Faculty are worried about them, whatever the case may be, and we just need to pick up a phone and call. If that phone is out of service, if that phone is the home phone number that you use through parents' home phone number when you initially applied to A&M, that's not helping. Just make sure that those things are updated. We don't call a lot, we don't send things in the mail, but if we have to, we need to make sure we can get a hold of you. So that's it for the admission contract content. Again, you're going to be getting an email that has the Google form with the admission contract. It'll list out all the things I just talked about. You're going to need to essentially initial on them or put in your UIN and then sign it and submit it. And I will need one from you if you want to register at 3 o'clock on your new student conference day. Okay. So switching gears and rounding things out, I want to talk about some upcoming dates and events, things we want you to be mindful of as we move into the fall. MSC Open House is going to be that first Sunday of the semester. August 28th is when it's scheduled for. A lot of our transfer students really want to get involved. They're here now. They're finally here at A&M and they really want to get involved. And this is a great opportunity to see the kind of student organizations, the clubs that we have at A&M and see who you can connect with. It's one-stop shop. The Memorial Student Center is overtaken with tables, representatives from all these student organizations, and hopefully you'll find ones that you want to sign up for. Think about joining, if just so you can start that connection. The Liberal Arts Career Fair, we have 2 career fairs each semester that are dedicated to students in College of Liberal Arts. Companies come here because they want to hire students from the College of Liberal Arts. We have 2 of them each semester, and at least we have since COVID hit. We've had 2 each semester, one online for students who can't physically be there in person, and usually the same companies will come to an in-person one as well. There's lots of information that goes out about these. I haven't seen exact dates yet, but you will see things from Bradley Matthews and Jasmine Zen, our Career Center Associate Director and Coordinator for Liberal Arts. And even though it's your first semester, we want you to check them out. Students have gotten internships from the career fair, not just, oh, I'm graduating and I need a job. We want you to go. We want you to see kind of companies that are out there that you may want to work for. And these are people, like I said, who love hiring Aggies. So for the mid-semester seminar, for students who have less than 30 credit hours taken here at A&M, professors are obligated to provide us as administrators with midterm grades. So that would be a snapshot in mid-October of what your grades are. If any student has below a 2.25, we will call them in for a mid-semester seminar. There's no penalty per se. You're not on academic probation if we call you in for that, but it's just an opportunity in October to kind of stop and assess where we are. Some students might need to hear more about Q dropping a class. They may have no idea what it is to drop a class or how that would affect them. Maybe they've never spoken with an advisor. Maybe they're anxious about how to talk to their professors. Like, let's use this opportunity to kind of collect ourselves, get together and figure out what resources will help you for the remainder of the term. So we will be looking at midterm grades in October. And like I said, anyone below a 2.25 will get an invitation to come to a seminar with us in the dean's office. Lastly, in November, on November 18th, there's a Q drop and withdrawal deadline. Should there be any classes that you want to drop in the semester, or if things are dire enough that you need to step back from everything this term and withdraw, you would have until November 18th to do that. It's a really important date every semester, so just be mindful, because once that date passes, students cannot get out of classes that they're in, even if they're not going well. I'm getting close to the end. I do want to talk about some tips for success. These are just some bullet points. And even if they seem really self-explanatory, please let me take a minute to highlight them. And the first one is go to class. Some schools, and maybe one that you transferred from, have mandatory attendance, period. You have to be there. X percentage of your grade is dependent upon you being there, right? I know some schools where students are just dropped from classes if they stop attending. That's not going to happen here. You are responsible for your attendance, for your participation, and what you're going to get out of the class if you're actually there and participating, as opposed to just expecting to get the PowerPoint from one of your peers. So it's very important that students take the responsibility to go to class, because there's no substitute for that experience, okay? And really, work back to almost all classes being in person again, unless they've been pre-approved to be taught online. So there's really not a lot that we have that's online. Our degrees are not online. And so the importance of physically being in a classroom and engaging with the material and with your colleagues and your professor is significant and absolutely foundational to your success here. Second bullet point is get involved and engaged in your studies. So many of our majors, I think all of them, have student organizations, right? And so if you want to get involved in a way that's going to augment that academic experience, right? Maybe there's guest speakers, or you shadow a professor, or you work with students from your major that have been around longer than you, and that you can talk about what's next, how to prepare for grad school, research opportunities. Get involved. Watch those emails from your department. Some of our social science programs have labs that you can work in or research. We have students who will do directed studies with a professor. There are opportunities to really make this experience your own, and not just, I'm taking 11 classes for my major. Doing more than that, right? To really set yourself up for future successes. So be mindful of those opportunities, whether it's your major's Instagram page. I know Department of Sociology has a great one for their undergrad students, whether it's emails, talking to your professor after class, especially, or going to their office hours if you're really drawn into the topic of the class or their research. Find a way to take it to the next level. Think about school as your full-time job. I've met with lots of students over the years who maybe at their previous school worked full-time and went to school full-time. We have not seen that to be sustainable in the long run, especially for students here at A&M. Okay, so imagine going to class and the time it takes to be dedicated, the time required to be dedicated to each of those classes outside the classroom is already 30 to 40 hours a week. Can you imagine putting a full-time job on top of that, or even a 25-hour-a-week part-time job? This is your primary obligation. And sometimes that's a huge adjustment, like mentally and physically and financially for students to take. If that means maybe starting out a little bit slow and only taking 12 credit hours, right, instead of the 18 you wanted to take, maybe you only take 12 while you try to figure out how best to balance your other responsibilities in school. But your schooling is going to take a lot more than the 3 hours a week you sit in the class. It's not just that, right? It's the preparation and the reading and the projects and the assignments, and there's group projects and papers, and you're going to see lots of variations of, method, delivery of your assignments, and it takes time. So be mindful that this is your full-time job, and be intentional with your time. There's only so many hours in the day, and I know our students have a lot of responsibilities beside just what's going on in the classroom. So if that means working with the Academic Success Center to work on a fixed commitment calendar where you can map out how your time is spent, so you can figure out how best to use the time that you have. We've had students who have gone home every weekend, and home is 6 hours away, and they'll leave on Friday and they'll come back Sunday night or Monday morning. There may be things that they're missing by not being here and being engaged on the weekends. So how could they use that time, to greater benefit for themselves? So it's things we want you to think about. This is TAMU Navigate. Navigate is our platform for student success and engagement. There is an app for it, but you can also access all the important Navigate things through Howdy. And one of the things that we think is most important is this is how you can make an appointment with us, is through Navigate. So there's other things to do. Students can connect with like peer tutoring and study groups in here in the Navigate app. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there. But know that this is a platform for you to be able to connect with your advisors, to be able to make an appointment with us. Okay, so just think about that. We'd like you to download the app or at least access it from Howdy. So to wrap things up, here's a list of people that spoke with you today, people that we want you to know. Our Associate Dean, Dr. Leroy Dorsey, Dr. Christy Dunn, and Dr. Barry Brookins, who spoke about international programs, academic success, first year programs, our Career Center. We want to make sure you know your Career Center people. Like I said, it's not just, don't just wait till graduation. It's such an important part of your journey from the beginning. And then our Director of Advising, Allison Rivera, and myself. So let me see, what is our next slide? And here are some websites that we want you to be familiar with. Some of them I already talked about, like Student Rules and the catalog. But yeah, and you will get a copy of this presentation, by the way. So I'm not just flipping through it and you won't be able to re-review it, okay? But these are definitely some we want you to be mindful of. Academic calendar is a big one because it will have deadlines that for add drop, for Q drop, when final exams start, when final grades are due. Every semester it's updated. So that is the end of my presentation. And I think you're off the hook for your dean's office meeting. I hope you have a wonderful new student conference. I know it is a lot of information and you will meet a lot of people, but that's what we're here for. And it's not just new student conference, right? Your connection to advisors doesn't stop at new student conference. That is just the start of it, okay? So thank you again for your time. Make sure you look for the email for the admission contract and get that submitted so that you don't have a hold. Again, I'm sorry we didn't get to do this in person, but I'm very excited that you're here and I know you're going to have a great fall here at A&M. So welcome to the family. Be careful this summer, but try to do something fun for yourself. Take care.